Kia ora everyone, my name is Rosie Sue and I am a solutions consultant based in Auckland, New Zealand, Aotearoa. I'm really excited because today I will be walking you through all the latest and greatest updates with Adobe Photoshop. I will also sneak in some updates with Photoshop Beta. There's a lot to get through, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump straight into it. Cool, so let's just get started in here. One of the latest updates that we have shipped in Photoshop in here, notice it's under the Spot Healing Brush tool. There is a remove tool, and in the contextual taskbar, there is a find distractions. You can choose to one-click remove wires and cables of people. Just before I choose wires and cables in here, the mode that you can set this on, you can either use generative AI or not. So we all know that in the past, you could always use the content aware fill, which Photoshop would just basically look at an image and look at the pixels in the surrounding area and fill that in, right? However, what I will do is I can choose auto in here. So let Photoshop decide. I actually don't mind. Find distractions, wires, and cables in here. This is really fantastic because, as you can imagine, lots of tourist shots, remove the people, one-click button, what we've always wanted in here. And just like that, it does a pretty amazing job in here in removing all the cables. Definitely go and check that out. I need to move right along because I have quite a bit of content I'd like to get through. So let's move on to our second example in here. Let's say we have an image in here. Notice when you do open something in Photoshop, it will give you a suggestion. And I really love the contextual taskbar in here. Remove background. Is that what you want to do, Rosie? Yeah, it is. And this time I need to generate a background. Again, it asked me, do you want to generate a background? Yes, I do. I will put in a prompt, water splash, palm leaves, shadow, and frangipani in here. Now, what I will do is I will show you some updates because, of course, in Photoshop, if you have been using this in the past year, you're probably quite familiar with using the prompts in here and doing what I'm doing right now. 3 results, they're okay. I mean, they probably aren't the best, but that's fine. That's okay. We will go into Generative Expand in here and click on Generate. So instead of clicking Done because I went out of the crop tool, what you might want to do is just generate without a prompt, because if we're using the Generative Expand in here, let Photoshop do all the heavy lifting. They will know exactly what you are trying to do, and that's to fill in the pixels in this particular space in here. So notice again all these different results, which are pretty good. If you wanted to go one step ahead, because notice how there's an update. When you hover over the thumbnail, you do get the 3 dotted lines, so you can absolutely click on Generate Similar. And what that does is, let's say you are prompting, and out of the 3, there's one particular one that you wanted to see more of. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I probably want to go with this one, and I want to generate more to fill in the space with my Generative Expand in here. Amazing. So I think that's probably looking a bit better to me. So what I'll do is, let's say this is the result that I wanted. Another thing that I wanted to highlight in here, it's been highly requested. Notice how there is also in the thumbnail enhanced detail. With enhanced detail, that's the upscaling that you have available. It's very subtle, so I'm not sure with this particular example whether you might be able to see it, but this is the after and this is the before. So maybe if we focus on here, maybe look at the leaves, that's the after, before. So notice our before and after. So very subtle differences in here. And then, of course, you have your good old libraries, which are still available in here. Don't need to walk you through this, but if you wanted to go and utilize libraries, it's a great method in which you can collaborate with your team members. So you can see in a matter of minutes, I was able to conceptualize this campaign, and now I can generate feedback. All right, so let's move right along in here. And next, what I will walk you through is our Photoshop beta. Actually, before I dive into Photoshop beta in here, one last thing that I will just highlight is when you do start off with a blank page, you actually don't need to start off with a blank page, because again, Photoshop gives you a suggestion. Say, hey, do you want to generate an image? Yes, I do. Click on Generate Image. This brings you into our Firefly contextual taskbar in here, and notice how you have options. Let's say I'm really having a blank day. That's fine. I just basically click on one of these. It gives you the prompts, a set of sunscreen bottles, and you can see seashells and shadow of palm leaves. Choose photo, or you can choose art. There's effects, of course, if you want a themes like cinematic, for instance. If you have a particular reference image you wanted to bring in, you absolutely can do that. What I'll do is I'll just leave it blank for today. So just like that, instead of starting from a blank page now, you can utilize Firefly to help you get started and speed up your workflow in here. All right, so again, it's giving me 1, 2, and 3. And these actually look super nice. All right, so now we can move over to Photoshop Beta in here. All right, so with Photoshop Beta, what I will walk you through is, let's start off with our 3D viewer. This is probably my favorite update that we have shipped in Photoshop. This is in beta, by the way. All right, so let's just start off with a blank in here. What you might want to do is you can click and drag in here. I'll just show you a long-winded method. But we have green headphones that I wanted to bring in. That's a Substance file in here. There's all these different file formats that you can bring in for 3D. All right, so what you will want to do is go grab a file. If you want to use this exact same headphones, it is available for you to download as a sample file. All right, so again, long-winded method. What I will do is I will just go and pop this into my podium in here. Okay, cool. So we've got that in here. Let's just get out of that first one. Notice how what I might want to do is stage the scene, and it is a smart object. So when I double click on the smart object in here, what this will bring up is it will bring up our Substance 3D viewer in Photoshop, and this is so cool. I'm not a 3D artist. I'm not a 3D modeler. I can't, I can probably do Stager. I was learning it for a while. But regardless, everyone, if you can use Photoshop, you can definitely use this 3D viewer in here. All right, so when you launch it for the first time, you do have to install it, just FYI. All right, so some fun things that we can do in here, because of course, these are the headphones. Firstly, at the bottom left in here, you've got your mouse. So you just basically tell Photoshop what you're using. I'm using a mouse, so you can use a trackpad. And voila, I can move this 3D object around. Super cool in here, right? Next, what I might want to do is with the base color, notice in here you can absolutely go and bring in any of these base colors. Again, the sample file gives you all of these in here. To keep it simple for today, what I will do is instead of choosing a base color, I will click on color in here and simply go and change the color of the headphones in here. So any of these that tickles your fancy, go and choose any of these colors. Now, what I did want to show you in here was the material presets. This is the exciting part because all you have to do is click and drag. So I will click and drag leather into, let's say, the padding, replace all instances in here. Cool. And now it has replaced this in here. And what I will do is I might say, cool, I don't really want the poo brown color. I needed to match maybe the green. I don't know if this is working, guys, but you get the idea. If this is what I'm after. Next, what I will do is I can also go and choose the rotation of the light. So again, all these amazing features. Maybe I want to stage it like this and then change the rotation of the lighting. Again, you can spend some time. You can also turn on ray tracing, which I won't here today. All right, so what we'll do is basically send it to Photoshop. You click on the button on the top right, it has been sent to Photoshop. Now when I minimize, and boom, just like that. Really amazing, right? So look in here how quickly I was able to do that. Cool, I might get feedback, Rosie, that's amazing, but no, we don't like it. That's fine. I can go in, double click on the smart object. Again, 3D viewer opens up. You get the idea. Go and rotate this around, whatever tickles your fancy, change the colors, whatever. All right, and then let's just move right along. We actually have text to 3D, which is so amazing. Again, because of the time constraint that I have today, go and test it out yourself. But I will show you 3D model to image. Now, this is for the background, and let me just go grab my background in here. Because I have this already written out, you don't have to see me typing in here. Basically, what this does is now it's got your 3D object, which are the headphones, right? I've put in a prompt in here, so background with a glass desk. with a laptop, LED futuristic, and just like that. Look how quickly that worked. Isn't this awesome? Like, this is really, really, truly mind-blowing stuff. Again, you can export this to Photoshop, or if you wanted to, you can also download a copy in here. But again, don't really have time, but go ahead and try this out. It's a lot of fun, and I can see this as a game changer. So this is in the beta version. All right, and then last but not least in here, what I'll walk you through is our Generative Workspace. We have Generative Workspace. Notice there's a button in here, Photoshop Beta once more. Now, with our Generative Workspace, what I will show you in here, it keeps a history of everything that I've been doing, which is really awesome in here. And I will show you why you might want to use this. All right, so let's just start off with a blank. What I'll do is, let's say, I mean, I've prepared these earlier, so I probably won't walk through everything because I'm needing to rush through this last bit. But let's say we wanted to use that particular image in this prompt. Notice how you can go choose use prompt. It shows you what prompt was used in here. Otherwise, what you can do is also use as a reference composition. So what I did was I used that as a reference composition in here. Then I typed in a prompt for these perfume bottles in here. And notice how I have also generated different variations for the backgrounds. Okay, so why don't we see this live in action, right? So what I'll do is I will go and grab a prompt in here, and let's just start from scratch in here. So what I will do is let us just take this away. I am going to put in here, cool. So what I'm going to type in here is a luxurious tube of lip gloss with glossy reflective finish surrounded by palm leaves. That's my favorite thing today, right? Small droplets of water on the tube in here. And notice how it very quickly gives me these stunning results with the lip gloss in here. Now, this is the really exciting bit. We have something called variables. So let's say I have a makeup company. I'm the marketer in here, or the designer. I can add a variable. So we want to have a look at this. We don't just want lip gloss. We also want this for foundation, and we want this for mascara in here. So instead of having to generate every single instance in here, you can go put that. And then on top of that, with a lush green background in here, what I will do is I will go and, because I've prepared this earlier, I don't really want to waste your time watching me type. You can add as many variables as you want. All right, so you will get what I'm trying to do here. I'll walk through the method of my madness in here. It says generate 36 because each one gives you 4. All right, so what it's doing in here, it also works in fast mode, which is truly incredible. So with fast mode, better computing power in here. Now it's giving you all of these, right? So I'm doing the variables with the lip gloss in the lush green palm leaves background, as well as on a sandy beach, as well as a bohemian bathroom. And then I also want to see that with a foundation and then with the mascara as well. And look how stunning these results are. So just take a look at that. And then you get the idea. I mean, if you combine this with the 3D viewer, if you wanted to generate your own image in here, how powerful this gets. All right, so that's all I have time here today. I'll just quickly show you some of the previous generations I was working on. This was super fun. I did one with an espresso machine, and with espresso machine in here, what I'll show you is I will just show you the use prompt, what I did. So the espresso machine and the variables I used in here. So plate of scones, so I used this, I changed the variable. So plate of scones, biscotti, macarons, what else did I put in there? I can't remember. But anyway, that's all I have time for here today. I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a go, everyone, and see you next time. Thanks, everyone.